Cyberbrainer is an online training platform designed to help individuals and teams learn the latest technologies and become certified professionals, producing a comprehensive learning experience.
All right. And when you use another tip for use, when you use grouping, ensure that the complex calculations are not used. Because I may use a complex calculation to go through all the millions of data over here, and I do some aggregations. Aggregations are basically your count, summations, min, max, everything. These are in common term technologies. These are called as aggregate functions. And aggregated functions are usually time-consuming. Functions, say, for example, have 1,000 rows. In those 1,000 rows, I need to find the summation of my salary. Obviously, thousands of missions it needs to do. It's going to take some amount of time. Even for a supercomputer, it's going to take some amount of time. I'm not saying that it's going to be slow or fast, but it's going to take some amount of time. So, rather than that, you may want to choose other options and also index data source. Because all these aggregate functions are generally time-consuming. Next is going to be your class fields, which we've already seen about all the different types of fields that are going to be there. So, like what we saw in the fields is just the same as that. So your text numeric data source and then your time boolean multi-instance. So we've already seen all that. Alright. Self-referencing is nothing, but a field is going to reference itself, just like what we saw for a skill and everything. So not much of that. I would say I would really pay attention, because there's not something which we come across, everything, but the rest of them are going to be really, really important to you, alright. Next, we've already done this particular activity. Sharing a report. So we've already shown you how you can share your report to other folks. And you can ensure that only specific people have access to a specific type of report. It's not going to be like everybody is not going to have access to every report. So because I may not want all users to see their data information. Alright. So the data and the information that I have should always be very, very secure, especially if it is going to contain some personal information of an employee. You need to ensure that it is going to be highly secured and only relevant people are going to have access to it, and not everybody. Not only can, Harry should be able to have access to any report from that matter. Always have a day that share with the relevant authorized users, or, if it is going to be for a specific group of individuals, share it with that specific group of individuals only, not with everybody. Alright. Moving on to the next option. Transferring ownership. Say, for example, here I have an owner for this particular report. This is called as Carolee. Owner of the report is typically the person who can edit the report, and he is going to be the one who can edit and also delete this particular report. And again, this is controlled by a domain. We have something called as reporting domain, and you can choose this. I choose that appropriate subdomain and everything and find out what is happening over there and all the relevant permissions, privileges, all that is available. Alright. So this particular owner is the person who can edit the report, or if another person is having the access to it. They can edit as well, but they are the super users of this particular report. And I can transfer this particular report to another person, and where that is going to come in is I've already created a report. And, for example, if it is going to be headed or this particular report owner is going to be something like a manager, a person who is at a manager or a coda. And if that person is a lever, which means he is going to get terminated in the near future. And I have a replacement person. Say, for example, if I am leaving the organization and I'm going to have another person who is going to replace it, I can have this transferred. So this is an ideal scenario where I'm going to have a transfer of report ownership. So report ownership comes typically when you want to transfer the ownership of a report in case when a person is a lever or he's moving to another department or due to any other employee changes. That's when a report ownership transfer comes in. Alright, let's go to the next. Skid using a report. Okay. So I'm just copying this report, I'm just not making any changes over here. Skid using this report is a very, very simple topic. And again, this is very, very commonly used as well, because what ideally happens over here is, whenever I have a report, I need to definitely ensure that I'm scheduling this report at an appropriate time and ensure that this particular report is also shared, and also shared with somebody. So you may see say, for example, a very easy example is I have an onboarding team on a weekly basis. I need to send across their details of all those people who are going to be joining the organization within the next 1 week. So I can have a report which is going to fetch. The hire date is equal to current date plus 7. So all those folks who are going to join within the next 7 days, please share this report with the appropriate users. I can just do it. This report. Criteria is whatever the criteria that I have over here. If I want to fill a value, I can do it. Next, scheduling options. How I want to schedule. It is at a normal priority. This is normal. Or if I want to put it as a high priority or something. This is based on the batch processing, which is going to be accompanied by this. If there are multiple reports running at the same time, it is going to run in a sequential manner unless I prioritize it. If I'm going to put it as a high priority, then this is going to be running first. Otherwise it is going to be put in the queue and, based on the batch processing, it will run in a sequential manner. Next, run type. How I want to have this report run every day, every week. However, I want to do it. What time zone and range of recurrences, which is typically from, say, today, I can have this report scheduled for the next 6 months, possibly. Alright, that is one. Next, what is going to be the type of report that I want to have it? Ideally, the files will be shared in the report repository, which is in your inbox. And then you can view the details of the report. Say, for example, this report will run and the owner currently what I'm doing is it will be run. But only the owner of this particular report will be able to see it in their inbox, unless I choose to have this authorized with other folks as well. If I want to have it authorized to other users. The output of this report is already security group specifically. I can mention it over there. Clear on this. Clear on the options for report scheduling. If you want, you can just go ahead and try a report scheduling and probably you can schedule it every day to run at a specific duration or interval. Alright, you will have a notification in your inbox saying that the report definition so and so has failed. Please go and check if the report does fail. If a report has failed and that possibility of reports failing is very, very, very less. Probably, the report will have 0 rows of data. That is more possible, but reports do not fail. Not like your database. Unless you write a wrong query, your database reports are not going to fail. Similarly, over here in Workday, it is simply choosing the relevant column, so the data failure is relatively negligible. And again, if you're going to have a failure, you will get notified in your inbox. If you're the reporting owner, report owner, say you're Carolee, you are the owner of this report. I have run this report as a real. And I'm the owner of this report. I'll get a notification every day saying that the report has run the something output. And if the report has failed, by any chance, I will also get a notification saying that the report has failed, because the report could fail in probably a pessimistic angle, if I can look at it. Say, possibly I'm using a calculated field, that the calculated field has been accidentally deleted. If I'm going to delete a calculated field, then I may want to look at the references, but in a real world there are checks and balances to ensure that this does not happen. But that's something. It's more at a pessimistic angle of the website because it's like 1% of the time such chances.
Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.